Alrighty, let's talk about 4 free agency winners for fantasy football, including George Pickens. So before we get into it, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to our channel for more videos just like this one. All right, Kyle, let's get into it. Who's our first winner?
Our first winner is going to be Will Levis. They go and add Calvin Ridley. That's a huge boon. You add Tony Pollard, who, Derrick Henry is a future Hall of Fame running back, right? Of course. But Tony Pollard is a much better pass catcher out of that backfield, much better option for dumping off for Will Levis. And so you've got to love the upgrade in weapons for him on this team. They clearly want to change from that pound the rock up the gut with Derrick Henry to more of an aerial attack with these weapons. And he showed some flashes last year. It's hard to say if he's their actual QB of the future stud, whatever, but he showed flashes. They seem to believe in him, giving him weapons. I like it.
I agree. I mean, he showed those flashes. He came in immediately and threw up, 3 touchdowns to Hopkins right off the bat. For a rookie stepping in there, he did pretty decent. They are surrounding him with a lot of good weaponry there, and he's got to feel pretty good with what they're adding, the pieces they're adding around him, setting him up for success. That offensive identity has been, lean on Henry, lean on Henry, lean on Henry. And so they weren't worried about the other positions that much. We can afford to trade away AJ Brown because we still have Derrick Henry. So now they're having to move on to a little bit something different. It'll be interesting to see how that goes, but agree that Will Levis has been outfitted with some nice weapons this offseason. Alrighty, who's your second winner?
Number 2, Christian Kirk. As of now, he's number 1 on the depth chart again, like he was the year before Ridley come in. And he performed admirably in that role.
Yep.
Hell, he performed admirably last year across from Calvin Ridley. So going back to that role, he's coming off of an injury, but if he gets 100% right, he could go back to being this top 12 type receiver for your team that you can get super late in drafts. And I'm here for it. Everybody thought he was overpaid in free agency a couple years ago. He's proven he deserved it, and he's playing really, really well.
No, I agree. He wasn't in that number 1 role with Calvin Ridley, but really he was, right? He still was their most consistent wide receiver. And so now without Calvin Ridley there, he'll get even more targets. He finished the number 47 wide receiver overall last year, and that's with missing 5 games. He was scoring, double-digit points almost every game, averaging probably closer to 14 points a game. So back to that number 1 role, like you talked about, and every year he gets better and better with Trevor Lawrence, those two building that rapport. So I'm liking it. All right, let's move on to your third winner of the offseason so far.
Number 3, Mr. George Pickens.
There he is.
Everybody that took him in this rookie draft a couple years ago, hoping for the best because he's this monster. He sees, big target. He's shown flashes opposite Deontay Johnson the last couple of years. The guy can make plays. He makes crazy catches. Now Deontay Johnson shipped off to Carolina. You bring in Russell Wilson, trade for Justin Fields. He's going to have a chance to be the number 1 guy on a pretty good offensive team if Arthur Smith can stay out of his own way. I know Drake London struggled in Atlanta with him running the offense. However, they do have better quarterbacks, 2 better quarterbacks than Atlanta ever had under Arthur Smith since Matt Ryan, that can get George Pickens the ball. And no, I don't think he's going to be some top 10 stud all of a sudden, but I think he'll be that consistent, solid, low to mid wide receiver 2 that you can count on week to week finally.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's the guy there now, right? He doesn't have the other wide receivers there. And overall, the offensive weapons there are pretty good with Freiermuth. You got 2 really good backs that Arthur Smith is going to use as much as possible. And then you mentioned the quarterbacks. The good thing about the quarterback situation is he'll have a decent quarterback now. He has an immediate quarterback upgrade. Either one is going to be an immediate upgrade, and then he has that upgrade for the foreseeable future with Justin Fields, right? So if Fields sticks around, being young, and it's still better than Pickett. Let's just be honest, like they're both better than Pickett. So he's going to have an upgrade, and he was performing decent with Pickett, and sharing all those targets.
Rudolph, you did all right with Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, yeah. The guy has talent. We've seen him make phenomenal catches. So it'll be interesting to see how he performs in this new role here, as the number one guy, and I'm excited for it. And I bet he is too.
Yeah, I bet he is.
All right, who's your fourth and final one?
Final guy, Kyle Pitts. Finally has a chance to
shine.
And it's not just because of the coaching change, which we've been praying for since he was drafted, but then they go and sign Kirk Cousins, who we know likes to throw to his tight end. And this kid's a freak. All he needs is targets. Get the guy some targets. He's all over social media saying the same thing. Targets, targets, targets. Just get him targets. The guy will perform. I am pumped to see Cousins to Pitts in this new Atlanta offense this year.
Yeah, I don't have much else to add to that, honestly. I mean, we see that Kirk Cousins will throw to a tight end. We see how Hawkinson performed there, and Pitts is probably an even better athlete, right? Like, Pitts is a freak in nature, and so they can move him all over that formation. I think Kirk Cousins is going to be perfect for that. So, no, I'm excited to it. Like I said, just throw the guy the ball. That's all we're asking for. That's all we've been asking for years, and I think we're finally going to see it.
Please.